Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam. Prabhuji, in the Vaishnava etiquettes, while we handling, I mean, two categories of non-devotees, it's if they are innocent, we should give them the association of our spiritual master. What is that mean by Prabhu?
Giving the association of spiritual master means association is always given through the instructions. So teachings and instructions given by the spiritual master, when we share with others, that is nothing but giving the association of spiritual masters. You know? Like, say for example, a few weeks we had discussion on the journey home, right? So that was nothing but the instructions of His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj, received by different devotees at different occasions. So that is nothing but extending the association. One actually feels as if he or she had personal association with Maharaj. So you may not had association with Guru or spiritual master or Prabhupada. When you hear the instructions of Prabhupada from the devotees who actually had association with Prabhupada, you actually get transported as if you are visualizing and seeing, receiving the instructions from you. So this is the meaning of giving association of spiritual master, extending the instructions and teachings of Guru.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I had a question.
Aniruddha Prabhu, we cannot hear you.
Yes, how about now?
Yep.
Yes, so Prabhu, in the Vaishnava etiquette is mentioned that if somebody is criticizing your Guru or other Vaishnavas, you should soundly defeat or leave the place. So in case of elders, Prabhu, it's sometimes difficult to go into argument, and it's better, I think, to leave the place, right? Or like change the topic.
The best thing is to try to avoid the confrontation, because especially in family or elders in the family, it's very difficult to convince them. I mean, anyone else can convince them, but you cannot convince them.
But Prabhuji, they keep on coming to the same point. What should we do? Recently, I'm having this problem. Every time I call my brother, after 1 minute or 2 minutes, he keep on continue the Krishna conscious what I am doing, and there is so much argument. I mean, they coming back and back for this. What should we do, Prabhu?
We have to use our God-given intelligence, that how to avoid the confrontation, because even if somebody starts, if say for example, oh, why people are doing like this, the simplest thing in a humble way to say is, because I'm crazy, therefore I keep doing some crazy things. Don't worry about it. Go ahead with your life. And that actually really puts a person down. Unless you see the person is actually inquiring in a humble mood, not in a confrontation mood, there is no need to even preach. Because in family members, you cannot preach. I remember Atma Prabhu was telling once, when he was introduced to Krishna consciousness, he started preaching to his brother. So his brother was telling him, oh yeah, now you are teaching me, what devotion is, or how to worship God. I taught you how to change your diapers. Okay. So don't tell me. So mostly family members will be in that, mood, because they know the person from childhood. So what we're discussing other day is familiarity. So familiarity breeds contempt. So generally, when you are too familiar with someone, it's very difficult for them to look up to you or receive teachings from you. So best is to avoid in such situation. And if possible, if you're really interested to uplift them, you can introduce them or bring some other devotee to talk to them. If they are really in confrontation mood or whatever, you can bring some devotee whom you look up to, you can actually bring them and let them convince the person on your behalf. Even Gaurang Prabhu, when he was trying to preach his parents, he never tried himself. He took Govind Prabhu with him. So this is something universal principle, and we shouldn't think that I'm exception. In general, it will not work.
May I ask following question?
That's true.
It seemed like Prabhupada, right? He didn't preach to his family.
He tried, but he
Yeah.
failed. He preached all over the world, but he failed to preach to his family.
Yeah. So we shouldn't. We just should follow Prabhupada, right?
Yes.
Just leave it.
Prabhuji, but
Hare
it
Krishna.
works with younger people, it seems.
Sorry,
Like,
bro.
Sometimes it works with the younger people. I have a younger brother, and when I tried preaching him, he took up and then he's chanting 16 months now.
Yeah. So the whole idea is use the intelligence to where to preach and where not to. Youngers or even elders, if they are sometime in inquiry mood, they actually want to understand something genuine, then you may tell them. But in general, doesn't happen. Youngers, yes, definitely there is a good scope because youngers generally look up to you. But elders, no way.
Yeah, my father is like that. He never listens anything.
Father will say, "Oh, I taught you how to walk. I was catching your hand and teaching you how to walk. I taught you how to even go to bathroom, and you're teaching me now." So that doesn't work.
Yes, thank you.
Prabhuji, how to maintain the same relationship? If I mean, and it's just to be practical. I'm asking if we won't talk this because they are not in a right mood, and they are again and again talking, and we want to avoid. And then how can we maintain our previous relationship to them, Prabhu? Because yeah, there is a distance.
I think Govind has good answer to this. He's asking how to maintain a good relationship with family members, even when they are not receptive to Krishna consciousness. Okay, she says it. I think this is actually a very important principle because people in family, they perceive us, when you are actually practicing Krishna consciousness, they actually perceive us not as individuals in our family, but they also see us as a representative of that movement or the group whose teachings you might be practicing. Say, for example, take a simple example. If you are a part of some Ayurvedic group, okay, and you are doing really well, but just one thing that didn't work well, you advise somebody didn't work well, what do you think that person will say? Oh, these people are nonsense group, don't take their advice, right? So one thing doesn't work, you totally get discredited. So similarly, when we are actually dealing with family and relatives, we have to forget about our role or our what do you call, affiliation with Krishna consciousness, and deal with them simply as one of the family members. Because most of the time, what happens is when a person starts practicing Krishna consciousness, in beginning stage, develop some superiority. Oh, I'm superior, I'm better than people. Of course, when a person continues to practice Krishna consciousness, and he develops humility, but in the beginning, there is a sense of pride that, oh, I'm better than these people are all karmis, they're nonsense. They don't know anything. They are in Maya. I am in Krishna consciousness. So that pride actually gets reflected in relationship. One has to be very careful not to even if one has developed that kind of pride, not to behave, try to curb that pride and behave with family members just as one of ordinary person among them, as you are behaving them before. You may still continue to follow the principles, you know, but be with them just like one of the family members. And that is what actually makes them put down their armor. They will become receptive also to Krishna consciousness if you just behave with them like an ordinary person.
Prabhu, I just wanted to
Oh.
Go ahead, Mataji.
You please carry on.
No, I was just going to say that I have a huge realization when I got to Krishna consciousness. I got beatbacks for my parents. I was just coming back from hostel, and I think it is also that first hit of Krishna consciousness to you. You become very maybe more fanatic. I don't know. I got the beatbags and told my parents, "This is the best thing that you should ever do in your life, and this beatbag is for you. This beatbag is for you." To give to my parents, they were shocked. My mom was sitting and crying for a couple hours, thinking I'm just going to take sannyas that day. So she was so against. I mean, my parents are very against me becoming Krishna conscious. I was just thinking that, you know, I worked so hard to make them Krishna conscious in so many ways, but you know, they are very conducive now. They were very, very against before. But when I look back, and later in life, so many people have become Krishna conscious in various ways. I never ever thought, I realized that I can never make anybody Krishna conscious. It is just their own Sukriti and Krishna's mercy. The way it goes is, you know, Krishna.
Mataji, sorry to interrupt you. Actually, Prabhuji, because of Sukeshwari Mataji only we came into Krishna conscious.
No. Nobody comes into Krishna consciousness because of me, Mataji. I should be thankful Krishna, you know, is using so many other souls as instruments. I mean, not just me, Mataji. So many people. Thank you for saying that. But yeah, please keep me in your prayers. But no, my realization was, no one you can make Krishna conscious. It's just that you have to keep doing your bhakti, and people around you, maybe if they get inspired, they will take to it. But especially family members, there's no way. And I feel more than ever, because I don't know if I'm wrong, Prabhu, correct me. If you're a girl, it's more that if you're a boy, and if you're the eldest boy in the family, and if you become Krishna conscious, I've seen so many parents becoming Krishna conscious. But if you're a daughter in the house, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I don't think that it has the same effect. Like, for example, my son goes and preaches to my father-in-law. My father-in-law is super happy to read Bhagavatam. But if I talk about Bhagavatam, it's a difference, right? My father is a great person. I mean, he really loves us, all of us, me also. But the way it's put it's so different. You know, if a son or a grandson explaining, I just want to say, so I don't preach to anybody now in my family. I just give them a lot of prasadam.
That is so true, Madhavi. I mean, just Gondri was sharing one thing just now, that when Govind Prabhu went with Gaurang Prabhu to his hometown, you know, so he was giving lecture. Govind Prabhu was giving lecture, and he said, if anyone becomes devotee in the family, then the 7 generations are liberated. So then parents of Gaurang Prabhu said, oh no, then you continue doing. They didn't say, okay, we will also take it, you know, so that you continue, then you continue. Of course, later on they took Krishna consciousness, but the whole idea is somehow that, you know, if you can use some trick to make them favorable. But generally, it doesn't happen by our effort. It can happen by the effort of others.
Yeah, that's my huge realization, Prabhu. I think I cannot make anybody Krishna conscious. They just become Krishna conscious because of Krishna and their own endeavor. But we should be thankful that we have been an instrument in it. But our contribution is nothing.
Thank you, Madhi. Thank you very much for sharing that wonderful realization. It is so true. And yeah, one thing, as Sukeshwari Madhi pointed out, Even if you have some elderly people in the family, don't try to teach them, because that will simply create more strain in relationship. Let your children teach them. They will actually be receptive to children, grandchildren especially. So if you have small children and they say, worship Tulsi, I mean, we know some of our family relatives, I could never imagine to even tell them anything. But Premanand and Krishna, they, because Govindra keeps sharing they are singing and, or, whatever the achievement they have, then the grandparents naturally become receptive. They actually want to listen from children. Even when the children are doing kirtan, they want to hear that. So that is the best thing. But ideally, if you can introduce them, or if they are at all even little bit receptive, bring some devotee to them, whom you have trust, you can actually connect them with them.
So, Prabhuji, with this logic, can we can we say can we request some devotee to do this on behalf of us? Is this what you're saying?
Yes, that is generally what the thing was. Like, as I was giving example, Gaurang Prabhu going through with him, right? So, Gaurang Prabhu, if he would have tried himself to preach to his parents, he might have tried also, failed. But if you take somebody else, so somebody else is looked upon, even of the same age, going through and Gaurang Prabhu same age almost. But his Gaurang Prabhu's parents, they actually took seriously whatever going through spoke. So that really works.
You may receive a lot of
Krishna
requests.
Prabhuji, Damodaram.
Hare Krishna, Madam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Madam, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question on the point of this ISKCON and coming like a misconception about people saying don't go to their organization, like some like when I go to India, they are also Vaishnavas, and they know about Krishna. It is direct that Sarvadharman and everything. They know that Krishna is everything, but still they say, hey, don't go to that organization. They say, I'm like unable to argue with them. So like how to respond in that situation, Prabhuji?
Generally in such situations, the best thing to do is create the atmosphere a little light. Yeah, okay, no problem. Once in a while only I go. I don't go every day. I don't go every time. Just once in a while I go. And just for my own peace of mind, I just go. And I'm not really affiliated now. And then people actually put down the armor. But if you say, oh no, you don't know how much benefit I have got, and then they actually become more offensive, and they just actually try to find more faults, and they'll bring some news. See, this was there in the news many years ago. Even if 50 years ago the news was there, they'll bring it out. Okay. The best thing is, oh yeah, I'm not really interested. It's once in a while I go. I don't go very often. Even if they know that you're going every week, even they know that you're going thrice a week, I just go once in a while, and that too only for my peace of mind. Then immediately people put down the armor. So our whole idea is to help people to put down their armor.
In one way they are criticizing, and in other way they are like, oh my god, you all are doing, even Prabhuji, like your husband is also doing. Oh, okay, kids are also doing all these things. In one way they are appreciating a lot, and in other way, oh, every weekend you don't come to our like gatherings or anything, and they say at the same time they are appreciating and they are like criticizing. So my recent experience in this lockdown is, Prabhu, like I'm reaching to everyone about this book distribution and all those things. So they are like appreciating more, and they want to read books also, Prabhu. Actually, they came down to this point. Like
That's
this
nice,
is a
very
phase
nice.
kind of thing, Prabhu.
That's very nice, Matri. That's very nice. So best, I think, is to hand over them books. Because
Yeah.
if they read,
Slowly I'm giving books to them. So actually criticizing the part, I don't know how to respond, Prabhu. That is my main.
that's what Matri said.
One day they will
Try,
come
try
to know.
not to argue with them, but try to just change the topic. Try to change the topic in some way or other. Try to change the topic. That's the only thing can be done when people are critical.
Sorry, Prabhu, can I add something?
Yes, Matri, go ahead.
I was just thinking that I have been super secretive about my Krishna consciousness, because when I started, my family members were very against, so even my friends and everybody, I realized that I need to grow in my Krishna consciousness before I put it in front of anybody else. Because yes, and in college, I was worried about criticism a lot, because you had to be in the hostel and people will make fun of you. So I had never revealed to anybody that I was doing Krishna conscious till I became very strong. And even till today, after 22 years, my in-laws still don't know that I'm initiated. My Prabhu says they don't need to know, because that's not even part of their life. It's part of my life. I know you're initiated and you're doing your stuff. So many times I don't even tell people. The only thing that of course they know is I don't eat onion, garlic, and follow the regulative principles and things like that, but they don't know so much. So I don't talk about my spiritual life to many people. And of course I don't associate with them as much, so they don't need to know about my personal life. So then automatically, since you don't associate with them, the criticism also doesn't matter, because they're not even part of your life anymore. So your goal is like Vaishesh Prabhu says, we're always swimming against the stream, so it's going to be a harder struggle. But if we associate with devotees and always be with devotees, we'll be calm and we'll not be worried about all the criticism. It's waste of our time thinking about those people who are not even interested in Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, Madhi, thank you. Thank you very much. So, yeah, this is actually one of the very important points as well. Many times when we are enthusiastic in our Krishna consciousness, we want to make whole world around us Krishna conscious. So that also creates a lot of challenges at times.
So one quick observation, Prabhu, about elders and other things, at least to my understanding, a lot of people have misconceptions about ISKCON. I don't know, for whatever reason, they don't consider it as bhakti. Like they thought like drugs and other things, like they have that misconception. But I think if people get an understanding that this is a proper bhakti, I don't think like there will be a lot of opposition. So many people, associating bhakti with ISKCON is like, there could be various reasons. Like, a lot of elders, oh, ISKCON, it's not good. Like they do different things. They don't know the ISKCON is practices like the Sampradaya, Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya.
Yeah, I mean, those are actually technical details, which I think it's not possible to teach everyone unless and until a person is interested in Krishna consciousness. So, and people generally don't have interest in knowing Sampradaya and all. They will not be interested. I never knew about four Sampradaya before I came to Krishna consciousness. So you can't expect people to be knowing that, and people least worry or bother about these things.
No, I think what I'm trying to say is like there are at least my hometown also there is a Krishna Chaitanya Matha, that also like Brahma Gaudiya. People don't mind if people go to Krishna Chaitanya Matha, but if they see ISKCON, like they have some objection. So there's a misconception. So that is to my observation, is to my understanding. I could be wrong.
Prabhu, sorry, Prabhu, I'm talking too much. I just want to say that that's because in South India, all South Indians relate it with Raj Kapoor's movie. I think that's the reason. Because in that song, there's the Dhammaridam song. They're all singing and dancing because there's drugs. My mom, the first thing that she told me is never go and have the Sharamrit in the temple because that has drugs. So, this is just a misconception.
That is also faded away. That also faded away, I think. And now,
now it is faded away. Yeah.
people know that ISKCON is actually a proper movement. So, yeah, but in South India, especially, there is a lot of resistance because of Shaivites. The Shaivite movement is very strong, but in general, I think people don't have knowledge about the sampradaya and all. And yes, international movement will have some, sometimes some bad news will keep coming up because some people do misbehave, and people will take excuse of that. Not only in Europe, but in most of the devotees have that experience. Someone in their family would actually try to point out that this movement is like this, these people are like this, and they will take out 30-40 years back news also. So I think best thing in such cases is to simply avoid such conversation with, especially if they are family and relative. Try to avoid conversation by all means.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes, madam.
My Dandavat pranams. Can you please explain interaction between soul and Paramatma and Krishna, and what is difference in responsibilities or in something between soul and Paramatma?
Well, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, the role of Paramatma is Upadrishtam, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. So Paramatma seated in our heart is Upadrishta. He is overseer. He oversees our thinking, our feelings, our willings, our desires. Everything is being supervised by Paramatma. So nobody else will know, but Paramatma knows. And he makes a record of everything. Upadrishta and Anumanta. He is also one who sanctions. So if I desire something, and if I have appropriate karma, which is known to Paramatma, then he sanctions also. Okay, you can try to fulfill desire in this way. So Upadrishta, Anumanta. And Bharta, he's also the maintainer of every living entity. Now, we hear from the scriptures that the different demigods, they actually maintain this universe. For example, the eyes of every human being or every living entity, in fact, are controlled by sun and moon. The left eye is controlled by moon and right eye is controlled by sun. So sun and moon control our eyes. But sun and moon themselves have eyes. Who controls their eyes? It is Paramatma. So ultimately, it's Paramatma only who controls, everyone. And he also maintains everyone. Bharta, Bhokta, and he's ultimately the supreme enjoyer. Whatever activities we may be doing it for our enjoyment, they are ultimately meant for his enjoyment. And Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara, he is the supreme Ishvara. No one, no matter how powerful a demon or anyone become in this universe, can ever be more powerful than Paramatma. Okay. So Paramatma is actually always the supreme controller. That is the position of Paramatma within this one, within the heart of each of living entity. He is Upadrishta, he is Hanumanta, he is Bharta, Bhokta, and Maheshwara.
Okay, so when we are enjoying in some not appropriate way, like alcohol or drugs, what happening to Paramatma?
So this world is created by the Lord simply for the sake of living entities trying to fulfill their desires of enjoyment separate from Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, the significant part here is that Paramatma allows the living entity based on their karma to enjoy. He allows them to enjoy based on their karma. So if a living entity has karma, to enjoy in a particular way, then Paramatma sanctions. Okay, you can enjoy in this way. And that is where many of the people actually fail to understand the simple principle that, and they try to accuse actually God. That they try to accuse God for the nefarious. If somebody did something wrong, then okay,
Yes.
actually God who did it. I didn't do it because he's the ultimate controller. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
So that is what actually happens. Mostly people in general try to blame God because ultimately when we hear from the scripture that Paramatma is the one who sanctions all the activities, then therefore they say, oh, see, God allowed this to do. That means it is done by God, but it's not true. Paramatma does not interfere with the karma of different living entities. He allows them to fulfill their desires based on.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, may I ask a question as well, please? Do we have time?
Excuse me, I didn't finish yet.
I'm sorry.
And so what about our soul and interaction with Paramatma? Do they interact at all?
Soul with Paramatma?
Yes.
This is also explained in the Upanishads that Samani Vrishti Purusho Nimagno. There are, in the body, there are two entities, the soul and super soul. So super soul is actually silent, doesn't really talk to the soul because the soul is busy in trying to enjoy the different fruits from the body, which is like a tree. So this body is like a tree for the soul, and it bears some fruits based on the karma. What kind of body we have based on that. There are certain karmas, and that karma is nothing but fruits. So living entity is simply busy in trying to enjoy the fruits of this tree, and Paramatma is simply sitting silently, not really interested, or Paramatma is not really interfering with the enjoying propensity of the living entity. He simply remains as a witness, silently observing the activities of his friend. But the Upanishad also says that the moment the enjoying bird turns his face to Paramatma and starts recognizing that my friend is actually sitting next to me, becomes free from all the propensity to enjoy, and all his miseries cease to exist.
So our soul is enjoying actually.
Not our soul, we are the soul.
Yes. So we're enjoying by our soul, right? How to say?
We are enjoying through this body, but yeah, it is the soul, it is the spiritual entity who's actually trying to enjoy.
Okay, it's too complicated. Can you please recommend me what to read about this subject, about soul and all of this Paramatma, because it's too complicated?
Actually, 13th and 14th chapter is a good thing in Bhagavad Gita to read if you are interested. That gives the relationship between the material nature, the body.
I didn't understand from Bhagavad Gita. I didn't understand this.
So maybe we can have a discussion sometime. So I didn't understand what you didn't understand really in this.
I didn't understand the soul and Paramatma. Why do we need even soul then? I
Do we need the soul?
Yeah, all the functions which have soul and Paramatma. If we have Paramatma, why do we need soul?
No. It is just like, asking the question why I do exist, first of all. Because soul is nothing but that is my identity.
Okay.
I'm existing. And if somebody asks question why I'm existing, there's no need for me to even exist. That doesn't make sense, because we exist eternally as a spirit soul.
So why do we
And
need Paramatma then?
why we didn't need Paramatma? Paramatma is there as our eternal companion. He's our friend.
Oh,
Just like a sincere friend never leaves the company of his friend, even if the friend is sometime becomes averse to his friend. A sincere friend continues to wish well. So Krishna, as a sincere friend of every living entity, accompanies him under all circumstances. Even when I'm the human body, he's there with me. Tomorrow, because of my karma, I degrade to a worm or a worm in the stool. He's still there with me. He never leaves our company as a sincere and well-wishing friend. All our family members will leave. If you just ask, your family members, oh, next life I'm destined to become a worm in the stool, will you accompany me? How many will be eager to go with us? Nobody.
Yeah.
No. But Paramatma always accompanies us. He's a sincere well-wisher and friend.
Okay, so what about the Krishna now? What is the relationship between soul and Krishna and Paramatma and Krishna?
So soul and Paramatma we already discussed. Yeah. Krishna is the source of Paramatma and soul both. Krishna is actually the Supreme Lord who expands himself as Paramatma to be present with each and every living entity. So he is the one who is actually genuine and real friend of everyone. And he does accompany every living entity through his expansion as Paramatma.
Okay.
So
when
our relationship with Krishna is actually eternal. He is our eternal friend and well-wisher. And he's always there with us in the form of Paramatma. So whatever we discuss about Paramatma is actually applicable for Krishna as well. Because there is no difference between Krishna and Paramatma. Krishna is Paramatma.
So what is different in our relationship with Paramatma and our relationship with Krishna? What is the difference?
There is absolutely no difference. In absolute sense, there is no difference. No, because Krishna and Paramatma is one and same person. There are no two persons here. God is one without a second. So there are not two gods, that Krishna is different God and Paramatma is different God. It's one and the same God. So there is no difference between our relationship with Paramatma and relationship with God. But relationship of Paramatma with us is different than relationship of Krishna.
How?
Paramatma, as I said, his role is Upadrishta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. He is a supervisor. He is sanctioner. But Krishna doesn't supervise us. He doesn't sanction our activity. His only business is to enjoy with his company of his devotees. So he's in Golok Vrindavan enjoying the company of his devotees. He doesn't have function of Upadrishta, Anumanta. He is the supreme enjoyer and always enjoying in the company of his devotees.
So Paramatma is a Krishna, but with limited functionalities. Is it correct?
Yes, you can say in one way. That is true.
Okay. So we can interact with Paramatma only in these three functionalities, only in these three ways, right? And with Krishna is in any ways, right? It's not limitation.
Krishna, we can only interact when we become free from all the contamination. Krishna doesn't even come in front of us. Even Paramatma doesn't reveal himself unless we genuinely want to communicate with him.
Okay.
So, Prabhuji, regarding same question, if we say soul is also part and parcel of Krishna, And Paramatma is an expansion of Krishna. So what's the difference between both of them, a part and parcel and expansion?
I didn't get your question. Relation, the difference between Krishna
Different?
and
No. When we say no, so we are also means the soul are also part and parcel of Krishna. We are.
Mhm.
And Paramatma is expansion of Krishna in our heart.
Yes.
So means what's the difference between part and parcel and expansion?
There are actually two kinds of expansion. One is called Swamsha and one is called Vibhanamsha. Vibhanamsha means a separated part, and Swamsha means
his own
expansion. So Paramatma is Swamsha.
Okay.
No? Swamsha means Krishna is not different from Krishna in one way. Okay, they're both the Ishvara. They're both Ishvara. But Vibhanamsha is not Ishvara. He's not in absolute sense one with God. So we are Vibhanamsha. Vibhanamsha means separated parts of Krishna, and separated parts are like sample of God. Prabhupada would say often, we are like sample gods. But Paramatma is full God. He's not sample, he's full God.
Okay, yes. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anastasia Mother, you had some question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Tamila Mataji, I mean, just whatever you said, she need to more understand about it. Like you said in 13.23 that was related. You whatever you said right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying to her like 13.22, 24. She can read. She can more clarify in that. Whatever you said in there in that book, in Bhagavad Gita book. Just I'm saying to Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
read Bhagavad Gita. I didn't understand it from Bhagavad Gita. That's why I'm giving these questions. Thank you, Mataji.
In the purports, whatever
Yeah.
Prabhuji said, it's there, Mataji. Just go
Yeah.
through that. You can get more.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Anastasia Mataji had some question. Okay. If I think no more questions are discussion, we can stop here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Gopalani Mataji. Please go
I
ahead.
have a question regarding Vaishnava etiquette. So today's reading, according to today's reading, it is stated that devotees should not allow the non-devotee to touch the feet. But if they insist, we can't do anything about it. Why a non-devotee should not touch the feet of a devotee, Prabhu?
Well, touching the feet is a action by which generally a person submits to superior authority, and by touching the feet, the karma of the person is transferred to the person whose feet he's touching. So if a person is non-devotee, he doesn't really have any interest in Krishna consciousness. That means he will not follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, and he may continue doing whatever nonsense or sinful activities he's doing. Okay, so there is no point in taking the karma of that person, and that person continues to do more and more sinful activities. Then devotee, why he should accept the karma of such a person? So the whole idea is, by touching the feet, we actually become relieved from certain karmas, in some way. And the person who's actually accepting the pranam in that way, he's actually receiving our karma.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. And how about if a devotee touches the feet of a non-devotee, what happens?
Devotee touching the feet of only in the family we generally touch the feet. You won't go and touch any person on the street, their feet. But if the other family members are not practicing Krishna consciousness, then still it is okay. There's the one thing a devotee should always remember is offering obeisances or touching feet of someone is actually humbling ourselves, and that should be the habit. We should actually teach our children also to do the same, even if they are not devotees in our family. If their people are not practicing Krishna consciousness, we should still, if they are superior to us, they are elder to us, we should always bow down to them and touch their feet. There's a beautiful statement made by Bhishma, in instructing Duryodhana. He says, whenever you offer obeisances, the net result would be you will get the blessings. So whomever you offer obeisances, whenever you offer pranam to anyone, you will only get blessings from that person. And especially if you are in family, if you're touching the feet of elders, they will only bless you. And blessings are actually very crucial. Sometimes people bless, out of proportion, without their authority, without knowing their limits, what they can actually bless. Like, if somebody comes to touch my feet, I say, may you become a billionaire. But my blessings have no power, right? I cannot really tell a person, oh, you will become billionaire, and he will become billionaire. Maharaj Shantanu, he told Bhishma, I bless you that you will die only when you desire. And that was true. That was his blessing, because he had that power to give. Similarly, Jayadratha, he actually asked his father, that, my dear father, can you bless me? Please bless me in the same way as Shantanu blessed Bhishma, that I can die only when I wish. His father said, I'm not Shantanu. I'm not as qualified as Shantanu. Shantanu is a great Rajarishi. So I cannot give you that blessings. And you are not Bhishma either. So you don't deserve to get such a blessing. So people in the ancient, they knew who deserves what kind of blessings and what is their limit of giving blessings. What they can really bless with a person. But it's always beneficial when we bow down to superiors. They will only bless. Whether it's empty blessing or genuine blessing, they will only bless. So we should actually train our children as well to do that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Even if the children don't pay their obeisances unto us, we can still bless them by saying, may you become a Krishna devotee. We can still bless them whether they are paying obeisance or not.
Even if somebody touches the feet of a devotee who's not a devotee in the family, you can always bless them.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay.
So, Prabhuji, so when we offer obeisances to Supreme Lord Krishna, of course, he's going to bless us, correct, Prabhuji, to become more Krishna conscious.
Krishna will bless us with whatever is best for us to return back to his lotus feet.
So
and of
we
course,
pray?
Yeah, go ahead, Madhuri. What are you saying?
Can we pray to, one of the devotees told me, so can we pray to Lord Krishna saying that please remove the material contaminations from my heart?
Yes, that's a very good prayer. And Krishna does actually listen to the prayers of his devotees. When somebody is sincerely praying like that, Krishna does accept those prayers. And we may forget that I prayed like this, but Krishna will remember, and he will continue to make arrangements in our life in such a way that we will actually become free from contamination. And that's actually the best prayer we can actually do for others as well. If somebody is, not sincere, or even, creating nuisance, if you pray that, oh, may this person become Krishna conscious, may he become a devotee and go back home, back to Godhead. That's the best thing you can do. If a person is creating a lot of nuisance here, he will continue to create nuisance more and more. But if he becomes purified and goes back to Krishna, the nuisance of this world will be reduced. So if you are really a devotee who's actually really well-wisher of this world as well, following in the footsteps of Krishna, he also wishes well to this world. So whenever he sees a very nefarious person, he blesses it. May you become Krishna conscious and go back to Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, if it is not late, can I ask one question?
Yeah, Mati, go ahead.
Okay, but Prabhuji, it just means like that for right now current situations. One of my close relative, she is in Krishna consciousness, and she married to non-devotee family. So means in family she have co-sisters, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, father-in-law, all there. So how to deal with them? Can she should be? I can shall I can means say her that to be Trinadapi Sunni Chena Tarurapi Shaishnuna. Can she apply that thing there?
I think that is the right place to apply that teaching, Mahani.
Yes, Prabhuji, but what is the problem? Sometimes our egos also come, no, Prabhuji. Why I have to be down every time? Why I have to suppress every time?
So, and therefore, that we discussed in the beginning of today's discussion is best thing is not to bring up Krishna conscious topics in the family.
Okay.
Just be with them like an ordinary person. If you, and that's what the problem mainly happens when we have some superiority complex that I am devotee, I am better than others, where the devotee should be having the consciousness that actually everyone is better than me. No. So that actually comes slowly and gradually by practice of Krishna consciousness. But in the beginning, because a person has some superiority complex, some false ego naturally comes up, and that actually is the cause of our trouble or problems. I remember, His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj was just sharing once that he was told by some Brajvasis, I believe Ramesh Baba or somebody had told him that if you go in the forest, because in those days when Maharaj was in 70s in Vrindavan, there were also wild animals in Vrindavan, especially in Barsana area and all. There were tigers and all. I remember in 95 when we went for Yatra, 94 actually, 1994 we went for Vrindavan Yatra. The Ravi was saying that there are tigers also here, so be careful. So devotees were actually carrying the stick around. So in case the tiger comes, you can try to drive away with the stick. So Maharaj was actually explaining that he was told by Ramesh Baba and some Brajvasis that if you go in the deep forest where there are so many wild animals, okay, and if you come face to face some wild animal, if you have slightest idea that you are superior to that animal, there is every possibility that the animal will actually jump upon you. But if you know that actually I am the lowest, and this is the consciousness you possess, that actually I am lowest of everyone, even this animal, though he's in the animal body, is actually more fortunate and superior to me. He said, the animal will leave you and go away. Because Krishna is there in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Krishna personally inspires. Oh, this person is thinking that he's superior to you. You also behave with him accordingly. So this is very crucial. To the degree we possess false pride, to that degree Krishna inspires others with whom we are dealing to deal with us in false pride mode. So therefore, we should never ever think that I am better because I am practicing Krishna consciousness. In fact, I am just fortunate that I have been given this access to Krishna consciousness, but everyone else is actually better than me. Consciousness-wise, everyone is far, far better than me.
It's right, Prabhuji. I also said something like that, but I mean some family issues maybe differ. So it's hard to.
Family issues, Mataji, the best is resolved by humility. When there's no humility,
Yes.
there can be no resolve to the family issues. At least a person who's practicing Krishna consciousness should take the humble position, because you cannot expect from people who are not practicing Krishna consciousness to take humble position. We know the value of it. So relationships are actually maintained and sustained because of humility. I mean, I think I have given this example before also, but my sister, when she was married in the initial days, she was having a lot of rough relationship with her mother-in-law. And one fine day she left the home and she came back home, and she was the pet of our father. We were 5 brothers and 1 sister. So she was very dear to the father. So she was so confident. My father is there. I have 5 brothers. I don't care about this family. She just came. So when she told that she has fought with the family and come, and she had come in the daytime, my father said, you cannot stay even one night here. And that was like pulling the carpet under her feet. She was shocked. She never expected such a response from the father, especially from the father, because she was a pet among all the 6 children. And my father told my elder brother, take her right away back to her in-laws place. And of course, that was, her home was almost like 4 hours away from the train journey, from our Mumbai. And yet, my father said she cannot stay even one night here. She has to go right now. That was so humbling. She was forced to be humble in front of mother-in-law, because she knew that I don't have anywhere to go. And guess what? She's still living happily with her husband. So this is actually such a crucial thing. If we take humble position, we will get the wisdom and intelligence how to resolve the disputes in the family.
Pretty just small.
I hope that I
Just
helped.
small point.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yes, Prabhuji.
Just a small point here. What if the violence is happening at their place with the woman? If the violence is happening there, is this the correct position that we should take it, even in this situation where the violence is happening and there's a death threat kind of thing, or even if there is no death threat?
Well, one has to use the intelligence, God-given intelligence. Domestic violence, many times, small, what do you call, fight between husband and wife may also be, propagated as, oh, this is a violence and all, because people don't have, what do you call, even slightest tolerance. So they can actually magnify, oh, this is, the person is actually, sometimes, husband and wife also, lose the temper and, maybe physical with each other. But in general, we have to use God-given intelligence that whether it's life-threatening, whether it's actually so bad that and it's happening consistently on a regular basis, then definitely one has to try to make some solution to that. But if it happens, once in few years, some small quarrel and all, which happens, because all the times are not same. So that should not be taken as the violence. But if it is happening consistently, often, then one may use the means, whatever means are appropriate to deal the situation. There's no generic guideline for that. It depends on situation to situation. I've heard, some situations where, there was also violence, but still the person who was actually the devotee involved in that situation took a very humble position and actually uplifted everyone in the family and transformed everyone in the family as devotees. I mean, I remember one of the devotees from Mumbai was sharing that his sister was married in a non-devotee family, and she was a devotee. They both brother sisters were devotees, and his sister was married to a non-devotee family, and everyone in the family, in her in-laws' place, was very much against Krishna consciousness. She had set up a small altar, and she would make offering of food every day, and she would do arti. The husband would sometimes get so wild when she's doing arti, he will come and kick her from behind. Now, that is violence. That is really violence. Okay. But she tolerated. And one thing she did is she kept preparing the food and offered to Krishna and kept feeding everyone in the family. Even in-laws were against, even husband was against. And guess what? After some time, everyone turned. The husband actually became a devotee. And he was so ashamed for his activities, whatever he did to his wife. He was so ashamed. He'd fall at her feet, please forgive me for whatever nonsense I've done. But of course, I'll say, one has to again use their God-given intelligence and deal the situation. There's no hard and fast rule or guideline in such situation. Every situation is actually unique in the way that everyone has uniquely different karma, to exhaust.
Thank you, Guru.
Really. So I think we can stop here. Thank you very much, devotees. Mancha kalpataru
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
So I kind of like to look at it in case I need to know how many we delivered.
I ate a lot.
These are the ones that we've